In the last video, I was triggered by some information I was reading on the internet about great ways to warm up, which were nothing but. And I was really positive and I showed you all the things you should be doing for a warm-up. In this video, I'm going to return to form and tell you the things you should be avoiding. Hi, I'm Kashmir, and in the previous video I spelt out what a warm-up is for. It's there to get you ready to move, and it's meant to increase your blood flow and your respiration, etc. Now that doesn't just mean that you warm up the air. You don't turn up the temperature, you don't give yourself a massage, you don't rub on liniment. That's going to warm up the outside, it's going to warm up your skin. What you want to do is warm up inside in the muscle. Now, one of the most common mistakes I see when people do warm-ups, and I go to lots of workshops and drop into other people's classes, is they start with a slow, dreamy, often dreary, new age music. Now that may work as a psychological warm-up for some people. For other people like me, it turns completely off, but that's beside the point. It's not what you want. You need to move. You need to get that blood flowing, which leads to the opposite problem, and that is sharp, hard movements right from the start on cold muscles. It's not a good idea. Not much better is the little teensy-weensy little movements right at the start, little figure eights with your rib cage. Leave the little muscle stuff to later. I would hope you know by now you do not stretch in a warm-up. That stretching is not a warm-up. I've just got to get off that chest. I say it over and over again, and I hope eventually people will actually have it in. What you do is you do mobilization. That is, you don't take things past their current position. You just move bits and pieces around. But there are also some mobilizations which are really suspect. Now, heads. So this is what started the whole thing off. The head circles. Head circles should be avoided at all costs. If you're doing something that requires head circles in the class that you are teaching that day, then yes, okay, do the head circles, but be very careful, because especially if you've got older students or injured students, you can do a bit of damage. But before you do the head circles, you do a warm-up for the head circles, and it's simple. You drop it down, you pull it up, you turn it to the side, you turn it to the other side, and you tilt. 3 movements in the natural plane of movement. That's what you start before you do head circles. So you've got to mobilize the next first. But like I said, try and avoid them. Ditto with those tilting pelvic circles, because again, you've got to make sure that your class can do an automatic ab control. So this is what I'm saying. This is for a mixed ability class. If you're a professional dance troupe, it's a whole different kettle of fish. The last one is flop overs, or touching your toes, or whatever you want to call it. Not a warm-up. Again, I'll cover this later. I'll cover this in another video where I'm going to be looking at stretching. So mobilization is not the same thing as stretching, although the layman will often use the two terms interchangeably. And you might say, but my teacher always starts with a stretch. Well, maybe your teacher is an ectomorph. Maybe your teacher is really, really flexible and she finds stretching easy and pleasurable. I have a story to tell. Many years ago, my friend and I went to a theatre dance class as a bit of cross-training. Now, she was even chunkier than I was, and ex-military. Our teacher was a newly graduated ballet teacher. Beautiful woman, lithe, thin, could stick her knee up against her ear. And she started every class with extreme stretches. No cardiovascular warm-up at all. Now, to be fair, she may have assumed that we were all adults, most of us over 40, and that we would know we had to warm up beforehand. Maybe. But even so, her stretches were extreme. And in one case with an Achilles stretch, I looked at it and thought, I'm not doing this. I just didn't say anything. I just floated back to the back of the class and sort of did my own thing for a wee while. My friend
always did what she was told. I did say ex-military. And as a result, she tore her Achilles tendon in the warm-up. Okay, so it was only, I think, the second or third class, and that was it. She was out of dancing for months. So don't do stretches in a warm-up, even if you, as a teacher, are quite capable of doing it. Think of your class. What is your class's ability and flexibility? And stretching is not a warm-up. So, to recap, start with cardiovascular, then do a bit of mobilization, and then start your class.
So that's some things you should be avoiding in your warm-up. If you want to remember what you should be doing, the earlier video will give you some hints on that. Until then, happy, safe, effective warm-ups.